Welcome back to episode 2 of Farming Simulator 17 on Goldcrest Valley for automation. Yes, for automation. So everything is now sold from the last episode. The only thing left is this little New Holland tractor. It's going to be used to take some stuff back to the farm. And here is the shop, so we can go and buy stuff. You'll see I've got 400,000. That's what it turned out to be after I sold absolutely everything. Even with the workers doing all the work for us, still just fine. No problems there. So we need to now start buying stuff. I need to start buying stuff to deal with grass. So you might imagine, first thing you need to do with grass is mow it. So there's a couple of options with mowers. These two I would personally ignore. They're quite cheap, but this sort of slides out from the side of your the disc bind. It slides out from the side of your tractor, and it's quite narrow. Same thing with this side of your tractor, and narrow. These two are very good. I do quite like them. They add up to like 53 grand, mind you, but they're quite good. There's the Lely, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And then there's the Kuhn, which is the DLC one in the Kuhn pack. You'll see it whenever there's a DLC, it tells you which one just below the price. So I'm going to choose both of these Pottinger ones. Let's just let you. Not going to lease it, just going to buy it. Because those 3 fields should be able to be long-term generate profit for us. So we can just buy both of them. And they're not terribly expensive on the whole order of things. So that's 2 mowers. So we then need to have some way of, well, weeders. We can't afford weeders. We need to go through 3 stages of fertilization for crops, even grass, to get the most out of it. And the first stage is automatic in the case of grass. It's we've planted it. The second stage you can use a weeder for, or a fertilizer. Weeder's cheap. You don't need to spend anything. It just weeds. The fertilizer you actually need to refill. So fertilizer and weeder, we don't have them yet. We won't have the money for them for a little while, but we can generate profit without them. It's just you can increase the amount you get by using them. So if we were making hay, then we'd need a tedder. We don't need a tedder at the moment. It just basically spreads grass out all over the place to let it dry faster. Instead, we're going to need a windrower. So this is something that is basically like a big rake, a rotary rake as such. It essentially gathers all of the grass together behind your tractor. So that is 75 horsepower for that one. That's a much bigger one, but I don't think we can afford it. And this is the DLC. So I'm going to avoid DLC most of the time, but I will show some improvements we can get from the DLC when we get to that one. So we're going to buy this one. And buy you. Yes. Okay. And once we've got that thing basically is going to take us from a field of grass into lots of rows of grass. So we need to put them into a bale. And we need a round bale. So if we're looking at baling technology, there's a bunch of different things. I'd ignore this entirely. Don't even try it. It's just a regular flatbed truck. And you'd have to get the bales onto it somehow. The 3 that we want are this Ursus, and this baler. This produces round bales, this wraps the bales, and this will basically pick up the bales from the field and load them onto the truck. It can hold 8 bales. Now, this is where I might want to just check what the DLC one is. Okay, so the DLC one is 135,000. This is the other round baler, the one at the very end, FBP 3135. This simultaneously makes the bales and wraps them, which is very, very good. But it depends whether we have the capacity. Well, we have the money, I should say. That's the one thing that I will probably go to the DLC pack instead of using the normal base game ones. So normal base game ones are these 3. So what does that add up? 90, 100, 139. Sorry, we need to add just these 2. Sorry, so that's 90. 100, and this is 135, so we need 35 grand extra for the combination of those 2 machines. It'd be very nice to be able to combine them, mind you. So let's first of all, we're always going to need this, so let's buy that. Yep, we're down to 280 grand. Okay, I don't think we're going to have enough to buy this just yet. Let's quickly take a look at the tractor because we're going to need one. Right, start. We've got tractors, and there's a few. Well, lots of. We get New Holland, I guess, but We want something with a bit more power. The Zetas are there. Keep going up, and as they go up, they get both of all more expensive, but generally more powerful as well. So the first one I consider is sort of this Voltra. And then later on, there is a larger version. So that's 119, which would be quite cheap. The larger version is 170. Now that's huge. It's 110 horsepower. You can up that even further. That will give us 110 spare. So let's take a look at this one. This is 145. What is it? What can I up this power? 174. Okay, so that will cost me 139. And we're on 280, so that will be 140 left. Technically, we could buy that large baler, the DLC one, if we went with this one instead. So, why don't we buy a green one? And with white rims, that will do. Well, they'll get dirty. Black rims, standard wheels, nothing special. We can put the front loader on it. Let's buy you. 185 brake horsepower. Yes. That leaves us 138,000. And for that, I think I'm going to go and buy the DLC one. Now, I'll show you where it diverts. And you, by all means, use the non-DLC version. Just need 2 machines. They're cheaper if you do. And where are you? Baling technology. There you are. So all the way to the end. 135 grand. That would leave us 3,000 left. That's not much. Maybe I should do it the other way. Yeah, just to make sure you can all do this, let me just show you this way. And then after a harvest or two, we'll sell both of these and then get the DLC one. It's fair on everyone, isn't it? Okay, so let's buy the baler, the roll belt 150. And let's buy the Ursus wrapper. There we go. Back, back, back. So we have a huge amount of stuff that's now arrived. We've got it all the way around here. Quite big equipment. Balers, yeah, very, very big. You can obviously see it's comparable to the size of the tractor. Here's our trailer, the windrower, and our mowers. So one thing that we might be able to do, I'm not sure if this tractor can do it. The larger one can, but I'm not sure about the smaller one. You can reverse the driving position of this thing if you want to and spin around. Let's, yeah, so if I press left control and B, we can spin around on the inside and drive it this way, if we wanted to. And why we might want to is we can combine the mowers and the windrower on a single tractor setup, which would be cool if we could. I've just got to get this the right way around. I normally end up getting it the wrong way around, and then everything stops working. So let's just see if we can attach that this side. And then let's just head around this way. See if we can attach this side. Or if I've got this first mower the wrong way around in the stage. That's entirely possible. Yeah, I think I've got it the wrong way around. Okay. Let's just do it the other way then. Spin around the other side. That's just again assuming this tractor can actually do it. There we go. And now will you attach to the other mower? Yep, you will. See, everything's attached. And then you can go on further and attach this. Oh, it's a bit on the heavy side. I should probably attach the windrower first, but that just makes it harder to deal with. So we can then attach the windrower as well. Okay, and that then means hopefully I'll be able to take this back to the farm. Now I did record the other course here, so if we just grab courseplay, go to manage courses, transferring from the shop to the farm, and I don't have a course loaded. Good, so load course, and we want to go to courseplay control. Make sure we're in transfer mode, this mode right here. And then change this to the first waypoint, drive the course, and then stop at the end. And we can get out. Well, hopefully. There goes. There goes 200 grand worth of equipment. Let's hope that works. And let's head back over here. So now, of course, we can't unfortunately attach all this to each other. They don't have sort of chain. I don't have a rear towing bar on any of them. So this is again going to have to be something that we attach and then send off to the farm. So the the first thing that gets used is the baler. So let's just attach the baler regardless. And again, we'll just do the same thing as before. We'll just set the courseplay up and we'll get that to go to the farm. So let's right click this. No, you don't have it loaded on this one either. So shop to farm, load this, transfer mode, drive course, activate. That's not good. Stop the driver. I just got around in a circle because I started just too soon. Let's just go around this way. Drive course. Will you now work? Probably will. Ah, this one still survived. Good, good. It's just changing lanes. That's where I recorded it. Are you going to drive off now? Hopefully you are. All right. That's off to the farm. And then, of course, we've got 2 more pieces of equipment that we've got to come back for. But we can just send the tractors both back and pick up 1 each. And that'll get it back to the farm. Okay, with all the equipment back at the farm, and I've got our larger new tractor, the Valtra, or Valtra, whichever way that's supposed to be pronounced, back at the start of the field, but of course nothing has grown yet. We should have everything we need. I've advanced the time controls to full, i.e. 120 times normal, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to get the DLC stuff, as that would leave me to far too little money, because we may be waiting a couple of days, and that's okay, because the time controls can accelerate that for us. But we want to wait until the grass is somewhat like this. You see where these flowers appear? You want to wait till that actually happens across the entire field. Let's just take a look at the fields anyway. So map overview, you'll see they're all show up as fertilized. Aside from that, there's a tiny strip along the edge that needs ploughing. I'm not going to worry about it, but we may need to get another plough out if that's the case. But that's only a little bit of the fields that somehow the plough has missed. That's sometimes an issue with the workers, but not no major issue. You'll see we're not into the darker regions, however. These haven't been fertilized. We don't really have the money for it yet. And you'll see they show up as grass. If we just enable grass. Growth, nothing just yet. We want to watch out for the growing side of things. And of course, we need to skip forward a little bit until, perhaps a day is passed. So let's give that a go, because this is still the first day at 2 p.m. We've prepared 3 fields in the first day, in the first couple of hours, because we were running at real time. Okay, so here we are at 1 p.m. on day 2, and this field has now just changed. It's gone to the final growth stage, so we can then go and harvest our crop. Now, you'll see I've already got a course in here. Let me actually just erase that so I can just show you what I did. And I'm sure people who are more expert than this may be able to point out some mistakes. We'll see. Let's just go to Manage Courses. Go to a folder called 12. Let's just delete that. And let's go into, make sure we're in fieldwork mode. That's the transfer mode. We used to get to the shop. This is fieldwork mode. And then we want to try and create a course. So course generation. If we press this, we can choose some options. So if we go into field 12, you'll see I've got it set up with a working width of 8.9. The actual tools can clear more than that. That just produces a regular pattern. I'm a bit concerned about the ends, and about how it deals with that as far as mowing is concerned. But this is for field 12. I've selected the starting position, which is where we are. I'm not dealing with headlands at the moment. Maybe we have to. Not sure. We'll give it a try. Starting direction automatic, and everything else is just pretty much default. Okay, so generate the field course. That's what we've got. We press OK. I can press save. And then I can just create this course name again. So, mow? There we go. Mow, rake, or I could say windrow, but that's too long. Rake 8.9. Oops, 8.9 meters. Okay, so that will be in our courses. And then we can then say I want to put that in field 12. There we go. And that should be everything. So we're in fieldwork mode. We can say drive course. I'm going to start up everything before I trigger this, just so that everything is running. So we want to turn on the mower. Oops, that's folding. It's folding. turn it on, lower it, change to the next set of equipment, which is the next one in is that one, turn you on, and lower you. It's going to start mowing out here outside the field, but that's actually perfectly fine. And then finally just go to the windrower and start you up as well, lower you, and then tell it to drive the course. And it doesn't work. You should be able to drive the course. First waypoint, yes. First waypoint. Why won't you drive in? Am I in the wrong mode? Combi overloader, fertilizer and seeding. Fieldwork mode. Maybe if I set this in this mode, will you work better? No. Oh, it was working, just decided it needed to fold the stuff itself, then unfold the stuff itself, then it could actually start. Very odd. But it's working fine now. We just want to see what happens when it actually hits the end of the course. Well, not the end of the course, but the end of this first row. I want to make sure it can turn itself around just fine, just like the built-in helpers, by the path we've generated. So if it can, that's cool. And if not, then we have to consider something else. But you can see what's happening behind us. All of that grass has been moved into a nice, neat pile in the center of the path for the next piece of equipment. Next piece of equipment is going to be the baler, I think. Yes. Then the wrapper, then our transport truck. But that all depends on how well this deals with the end of this path. So that's fine. It should have a turning circle. Not sure it's dealing with that at all well. No, you are not dealing with this. Let's just stop the driver. Okay, so we're going to have to generate a better course than that. As you can see, the GPS mod will let us actually do it manually for this run. So all we need to do is just turn around here and go back. It may actually be easier if we don't have all this equipment on the one machine at once, because it's trying to turn around and you just can't with all of this stuff. So if we just go to what are we actually on now? Lower? Yeah, and then change between these, lower this as well, and turn you all on. There we go. So yeah, we can set this off just by pressing 3 and Control W, as I showed in the last episode. It's going to maybe miss stuff if I don't have that set up perfectly. So again, we want courseplay to do this eventually, so I need to do some more research in how that course should be set up, particularly at the ends. It'll be absolutely fine until it gets to the end of a particular run, and then it won't. So in this case, let's just press Control Pad 3 and enter, and that'll give us our current course. Sorry, Control Pad 3 with left control, Control Pad 3, left control, enter, and that will give us this course. And then we can use Control W and our regular cruise control to actually set things up so that it doesn't miss grass. You may have seen it when I actually turned around at the end, but when you've turned around at the end, it'll show you the next set of courses along, or the next sort of path along, for you to make sure that you don't miss any crops. So in this case, this is still manual, but I'm not actually touching the steering. It's staying on that green path all by itself. So I'm definitely going to need to fix that course path though. Okay, let's try that again. I changed the option in here to turn on the field that was activated by default. Deactivate that so it doesn't try and keep within the field boundaries as such. We don't need that at all. At the moment it's going over its old path, so that's perfectly fine because the windrow will keep everything to where it should be. Its turning circle is set to 7 meters. That's the same as the automatic one. I've just been playing with that a little bit for the moment, but we're approaching the end of this. And there's a few different routes that we can create around a field like this, but the main one is we want as many long straight lines of grass as possible. So let's just approach the end of the field, see how well or badly it copes with this. So it's getting to the end. It's figuring out it needs to turn. Okay, that's good. It's looking like it's able to turn just fine. Yeah, that's perfect. Assuming that it can actually Oh, you might need to up that turning circle a little bit more so that it's able to deal with it. It is recovering, but let's just maybe up that to... where are you? You in settings? Yeah, let's up that to... Oops. Let's up this to 8 meters. And let's see how that does at the other end. Here we are at the other end. Will you figure out how to turn? There isn't as much room at this end because I've got that rock, which is a bit inconvenient. But hopefully I've given it enough turning circle. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Is it going to back into itself? Still. Yeah, still maybe a little. But still recoverable and still no problem. So I think we can probably leave that alone. And it should get everything into nice straight rows. So as you can see, I've been doing some manually that I got a bit wrong right there. But other than that, that's pretty automated. And we'll leave that one alone. So now we need to go across to... oops, let's get rid of you. We need to go across to the next piece of equipment. And because we've saved that course now, or at least I hope I've saved that course, we'll be able to do the same thing of follow it up with the baler. Now, the default game cannot automate the baler. Courseplay can. So let's just grab you. Bring you out here. We don't need anywhere near as powerful a tractor. That's one of the reasons why I bought a new tractor rather than trying to save the old ones. That particular rig of like 3 different stuff attached to one tractor, it's not the not the easiest of thing for a vehicle to actually carry. So instead, we've got it on a new tractor, and this one, of course, should be able to rerun the same course, hopefully. And it's directly behind the tractor. Now, if it wasn't, we'd have to play with offsets, which are in here. So make sure I get in the right mode. There's an offset setting in here somewhere. Yeah, so lane offset. If this piece of equipment was out here, we could offset our vehicle so that it would drive to make sure that the equipment was in line with the grass. So let's give this a go and let's see if it will actually just do the job as is. So we want to manage the courses. Excuse the sirens in the background if you can hear them. Mow, rake, well, let's just... In fact, that may already be the course that's loaded. Let's just make sure, though. And let me just make sure that my settings stayed. I'm not sure if it auto-saves. Tool offset. I don't think we may not need a tool offset. Reloaded course, 2.6 width. And... it presumably is the same course, so let's give this a go. Drive the course. And that's not... No, that's offset. Stop the driver. We're going to have to back you up and turn off the baler for the moment. And it'll be in here somewhere. I think that was the offset that I saw. Where were you? No. I could have sworn I saw tool offset in here somewhere. Let's just get back up here. We want to make sure it follows this exactly. And that's fine this time. It's started up. It started moving by itself. And it should stop by itself. Please stop by yourself. Yeah, and you unload. That's not something the base game can do. So bear in mind, if you don't do this with courseplay, you're going to have to do that yourself. However, right now, well, hopefully this is all automated. We've constantly got the mower, the windrower, and the baler. Now, we don't have enough tractors to send more tractors out into the field, but the idea is that all of these will end up in the same position on the same track that the other tractors have been along, so you'll see more down there appearing. So if we send our baler, as long as because the baler is offset from the tractor to the right of it, we have to make sure our tractor is out here and it follows along with the baler directly in line with those and is able to do the job. Are you having problems with the end though? Have you got that setting on again? Yeah, turn on field deactivated. Yeah, I'm gonna have to it didn't save the settings, that changes I made. Fine, let me just stop the driver. And I think I'm going to have to set it going again but from the nearest waypoint rather than the first waypoint. So if I go here and we go to the drive course, it starts at current waypoint or next closest waypoint. Make sure this is setting. So turn on field is deactivated. Good. And I think that was the only change I made. I hope so. Yeah, so drive course. There we go. So will you turn around correctly? Now the other vehicle had problems with this, but this shouldn't have anywhere near the same problem. Yeah, it should kick to the left because I've told it to have a large... It's probably got the same turning circle settings as that other tractor. So it may not need that in this case, but if we have it, it just shouldn't harm it that it's going to follow the same course. No, you're going to go just fine. And now you're going to accelerate as you might expect before. So off it goes. And it's going to unload more bales. Great. Now the only downside to this process is that we're creating round bales. And them being round, they tend to have a bit of a tendency to roll. So just in case, you may miss a few, but you know, we're capturing the vast majority automated. That's about as... It would be nice if you could wrap square bales, because that would make it much, much easier to make sure they didn't move from where you dropped them. However, in our case, yeah, they may kind of move. But the majority of them haven't, so that's good. It's just these starting fields, they're all sort of... None of them are completely flat. They're all sort of going uphill one way or the other. So we're just finishing off this now. And that's now done. So it's part of a... Yeah, let's just stop the driver. It's part of a bale in there. We don't have to worry about it. We'll go and fill it up when our mower, which is sort of working on this field, I hope. You're going back down the same path I sent you on. Well, hopefully that corrects itself. That should be fine otherwise, though. Let's just head down here and then grab the next piece of equipment that we need for our harvest. Each one of these bales is worth just under $3,000 on normal, so it's definitely something that you'll get quite a few of them already, and once we get weeding and fertilizing going, we should get quite a lot from each field. In fact, much more than we have now. I think each stage has maybe 10%. I assume it's 10%, and that's not the right side. That's not the right side of the wrapper. It needs to be the other side. There we go. I forgot I drove this in forwards. Are you turning? You are turning, good. I think it's got that first row, it's got a double row on it for some reason, not quite sure why. But the rest of it works, so that's all together fine by me. Let's back up. Grab the wrapper. And is the wrapper... Well, the thing is, it looks like it's behind the tractor, but it's not. It's not folded down yet. So if I just go over here and unfold it, press X, you'll see it drops out to the side. So we need an offset of some kind, even if we run the same path as before. So let's see if we can figure out an offset that works. And it's handy that the first bale is not, well, is yeah, a little bit further away from us. So maybe 2 meters, that might be something that's worthwhile. So if we just grab this and get rid of a course, close that up. So this is the new course that I created with all the correct settings, so we can probably get rid of that one. So if we load this course in and we make sure we're in fieldwork mode, turn on field deactivated, definitely good. Turning circle auto 12 meters. It thinks I need 12 meters for this. Well, we'll see what auto does. All those look fine. The main thing is to... Oh, maybe it's already figured out that we need an offset. That would be cool if it's done it automatically. Well, why don't we try? First waypoint, drive course. Oh, maybe you have figured it out automatically. Look at that. It has. So it was 2.5 meters. And will you automatically pick up and wrap the bale? Yep. So then that's automatic in the base game, but and this part's automatic, but then dumping it again afterwards is not. So that shouldn't take it very long at all. And hopefully that's coming up soon. Should be done. The DLC Coon sort of bale wrapper is actually faster than this, if I remember rightly. A little bit faster, not much. Off it goes. It's dumped it onto the field. And off it goes. Alright, now, I don't know whether we're able to automate the picking up of these bales, but given that each one is like $3,000, I don't much mind driving around picking them up, but we'll try anyway. It should drop them in a consistent place, mind you, but it's just whether that consistent place is the same as the path. You know, if it drops it behind and to the left, then we may need a much further offset to the left to pick them up, assuming it's predictable. So let's let it go for a while. It's see if it picks everything up. And if it does, we'll come back once that's done. And finally, we've got the Baling sort of wagon or truck. And you see I've got a custom offset 4.3 meters left. That's roughly where this catchment sort of arm should be for where the baler drops it. And I haven't quite figured out how to get it to unload to the barn yet. But otherwise, it probably should work until it fills up. I think there is an option here for unloading on the field. That's set to manual at the moment. I'll probably figure out, see if there is probably a way of adding another course, merge it in with this one and tell it to go unload. The only thing that the baler did miss was one bale because it did roll and it was down there. I've moved it onto the car park over there, and that's just so that I can keep track of things that are separate. Otherwise, all of these are being dealt with or completely automatically. This truck can only carry 8 of them, but 8 times 2,700 or so. It's quite a bit of money. And only problem with this is it thinks it needs 10 meters to turn, and that can cause problems, particularly with that arm that's on the right hand side. You're gonna have problems with that cliff, aren't you? Ooh, maybe. No, it's self-recovering. It's just taking a while to turn around. In any case, while that's going, we also have the other tractor now with the baler on the back, because it finished all the mowing. It's actually much faster at mowing than it is at using either of these, but both of them are now running automatically, which I very much like. And then all we have to do, and let's just wait for it to finish these last two, and let's see what its behavior is then take them over to that red barn and sell them. So there we are, we've got 7. And maybe number 8. Oh, yep, it found it. Yep, work tool needs to be unloaded, so that is fine. Let's stop the driver, and we may have to remember this position for it to actually resume, so that will be fine, I imagine. So now we can just put it in transporting position, press B, and now we've got a tractor. This is not terribly fast. I'm so used to that new one that's much faster, but we should be okay with this. All we have to do is drive this up the hill. And unlike the rest of the markets for the crops we unloaded in the first episode, this one gives us a guaranteed value for the bales rather than a fluid value and having to take it to different places. So we'll just drive straight through the barn. We just head to here, press Y, that'll tip our bales up. And once they get to the top, just press Y again and it should sell. There we go. 2,600, I should say, not 2,700. Close enough. 2,646 times 8, and we're up to 55 grand again. Ah, that's so much nicer, isn't it? Okay, so what I'm probably going to have to do is some kind of route around here that does that automatically, if I can. We'll see. And then we have to figure out some way of getting it to go back to where it was and then carrying on. Now, the easiest way, of course, is just to get it to start the course over, but then that will waste time of it going up and down the field. So it'll be some kind of merging, but I'll figure that out for the next episode, and I'll update you on that when we get there. I think pretty much for this episode, though, I think we are pretty much on track for the end of the episode. So we're around about here, and if we start this and instead say courseplay drive course at the next closest waypoint, am I roughly right? Except the offset is wrong. 4.5. For some reason it loses that. I'm not sure why, but that's fine. And it can go and collect some more. this will continue baling. So what I'd expect is for us to well surpass 100 grand just from 3 fields, just from grass. I know, crazy, but that is nicely automated. I can get out, have my lunch, have a beer, and yeah, the workers will bring in our profits for us. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode. If you have, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And as normal, well, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do next episode, but as normal, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.